Big transfer news to talk about. Manchester United have got the number 9 they were seeking. They've agreed a deal to sign striker Rasmus Hojlund from Atalanta. Could be worth £72 million in total. Mark McAdam is on transfer duty today. Is this done?
Done. As far as the two clubs are concerned, there's still the formalities of the medical to be completed and, of course, all the officials signing, and then officially he'll get the unveiling by Manchester United. But the breakthrough came last night after Bournemouth's game with Atalanta down on the south coast. I was lucky to be down there. I was on Rasmus Hojlund watch throughout the course of the day. It was quite interesting to see he was named in their 23-man squad on Friday night. And we were all quite intrigued as to whether he'd actually play a part, because when you've got a transfer so huge that's worth a lot to Atalanta, a lot to the boy, and obviously means so much to Manchester United, they wouldn't want him to get injured in any capacity. So when I got to the stadium and saw the Atalanta team arrive, they walk out onto the pitch and just take in the surroundings. And that was the moment where you saw Rasmus go around the teammates and he shook everyone's hand and he had a few high fives and a couple of hugs. And you just got the sense that that was him saying goodbye. Maybe he just found out before the game that the deal was virtually completed. He warmed up before the match, warmed up at half-time, didn't get a single second on the pitch during the match. Atalanta won 3-1. He gave the fans a little half clap as he trudged off, but it was shortly after the game had been completed when we got official confirmation that United and Atalanta had agreed a deal. It's £64 million plus £8 million of add-ons. Personal terms not expected to be a problem. He'll sign a 5-year plus 1-year option in terms of the contract. He wanted United. Erik ten Hag wanted him. And their key position, the number 9 that was so desperately important for Manchester United this summer, has now been filled. So
you were in a very privileged position to be pretty close to him yesterday, but probably Erik ten Hag's view is even more important than yours. What are they getting? Why are they so keen on him?
Well, there's been a number of Premier League sides that have been monitoring him over the course of the last couple of seasons because his trajectory has been so sharp. He's gone from Austrian football to Serie A and adapted so well to that level of football. And there's clearly more levels to his game. He's a player that's physically ready for the Premier League. You look at, Erling Haaland, Didier Drogba. You look at those players that have got a real physical presence that can cope with the demands of playing in the English game because it is so physically demanding. He's got that. He's got that ability. He's quick for a big man. He's good in the air. He can drop into pockets of space, pull the channel. But also, I think, significantly is Manchester United fans need to be aware that he's not the finished product. And I think that's what Manchester United are buying. They're buying someone they believe can be a superstar, that can win matches by himself, that can play in the Champions League, which he's done, of course, for Atalanta. They finished 5th in Serie A last season. He's got everything there. He just needs a little bit of time to work with some of the best coaches in the world and, of course, his new teammates. And you could see someone that could be right at the top end of his game in the coming years. It might take a little bit of time. He might be perfect already and slip straight into that Manchester United side. But it's our understanding that Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford will help him along and share that burden. And it's a big burden, playing a number 9 for Manchester United, because you're expected to play week in, week out and deliver not just 20 goals, you're looking at 30 goals. That's what is expected from that role at a club of that size.
Is it fair to say this is quite a contrast for United with last summer when they didn't get everybody they wanted and they ended up paying probably more than what most people felt was a market price for Anthony? This time they must be quite pleased.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you look at the philosophy of Manchester United this summer, they've perhaps gone against the grain of what they've done in the past. Manchester United have always been seen as a club that will pay perhaps over the odds. They know they have to because they're Manchester United and they're one of the wealthiest clubs in the world. But also, they've been seen to be perhaps a soft touch in the transfer window. No, this is what we want, and we know eventually you'll pay it because you want the player. Whereas this summer, you saw it with Mason Mount, you saw it with Onana, and you've seen it with Rasmus Hojlund. They've not got to the figures that were being quoted at the start. They've been patient, they've been strategic, and they've paid as much as they feel comfortable paying for the players that they've got in through this summer's transfer window. So I think that will be seen as significant for Manchester United. They've stuck to their guns on this deal and the other 2 big deals that they've done. So they're paying what they want. And I think that's significant for so many reasons, because also there is this takeover happening in the background as well that's been going on for 8 months now, which would have played a big part in what Erik ten Hag has been able to spend this summer. But I think when he looks at the restrictions that have been in place with regards to the ownership situation, how much money is being invested, what can they do in the window, they've now got 3 key players in on 3 key positions. I think Erik ten Hag last season proved that he is the man for Manchester United that can take them back to where they want to go. This time last year there was an uncertainty. They thought he would be great, but how good would he actually be? Because there's been a lot of false starts at Manchester United as they look to try and replace Sir Alex Ferguson. So this summer you've seen a confidence and a backing of the manager. You've seen a little bit more strategy in the transfer window. They've got the players they wanted, and you get the feeling that there's a growing optimism that they can go and once again not just compete for the top 4, but potentially push Arsenal and Manchester City. You certainly feel like they're taking steps forward. And just to summarise, really, interesting now to see what happens, because it's not about the business coming in at Old Trafford, it's about getting players out and just balancing the books and FFP. There's interest in Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, Fred and Donny van de Beek, and they have a passing interest as well in Sofian Amrabat at Fiorentina. So whilst the bulk of their business is done, never say never.